Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's EBC video. We're at Ritter Farm Park in Lakeville, Minnesota this week, and we're kind of pretending this is the wilderness. It does look a little bit like the wilderness, but you can probably hear the traffic noise out behind me there, and there's a parking lot over there. But let's just say this is the wilderness, right? Because we're in Mark 1, verses 1 through 8, and we're going to be talking about John the Baptist in the wilderness. But before we do, I just want to focus on the way Mark starts. It says, "This is the beginning of the good news of Jesus Christ." That's the first words in Mark. And then the very next thing is actually Isaiah talking about sending a messenger ahead of Jesus, right? The first part of the story isn't Jesus. The first part of the story is sending a messenger out ahead of Jesus. And it's John the Baptist. And what it says is that John the Baptist is going to make straight the path of the Lord. Now, let's look a little bit about how John the Baptist is doing that. First of all, John the Baptist is out in the wilderness. We don't have a lot of information about what the wilderness is here, but we think it's the desert near Judea, and John is out there. But we know it's not too far from civilization because John is having people come out to him and the Jordan River, and he's baptizing people out there. Now, there's something really neat, just first of all, about the way this is set up in the Bible. It says in Mark that John appeared in the wilderness. There's no backstory. We don't get the story of where John comes from and that Elizabeth is his mom and that's the cousin of Mary and all those things. There's none of that. It's just John appeared in the wilderness. All right. And then John is bringing people out to him. And what is it he's doing? He's proclaiming the good news. He's forgiving sins. He's baptizing people, right? Now, those things are drawing people out to him in the wilderness. And it's a great message for us because, you know, we can think of a lot of times when we feel like maybe we're called to do something for God, and then there's some excuses. It's going to be kind of tough, a little hard to do. Well, take a look at what John is doing here. He's out in the wilderness. He's eating locusts and wild honey, and it's near enough to town to know that at least the people are getting to him, but he's not taking it as an excuse that he needs to draw those people out to him. So it's a great lesson for us as well. But then there's something really neat here as well, that John says that someone who's going to come after me, who is more powerful than I am, that I'm not fit to untie his sandal, right? But I just love the word powerful here. John says more powerful than I am. And of course we know he's talking about Jesus, and Jesus is more powerful than John. But it's a really neat word here to focus on for a moment, as John being powerful. For doing what? For telling about Jesus, for baptizing in Jesus' name, and for forgiving sins. Those things are power. And so it means that we also have that opportunity to be powerful for God, to tell about Jesus, to forgive people's sins, and even in some instances to baptize, or at least to call people toward being baptized, right? So we know all of those things are true, and a fantastic reminder for us. Right now, but there's one other thing that I really want to focus on for just a moment, and it's maybe the most interesting part about all of this, right? Because where did we start in Isaiah? It's about John making straight the path of the Lord. Now, we all know what's going to happen to Jesus, right? From the very moment he's born in a barn, it does not feel like a straight path. Through all of his upbringing, it doesn't feel like a straight path. And certainly at his crucifixion, it doesn't feel like a straight path. But to God, it's a straight path. And it's a fantastic reminder to us that even when our path doesn't look all that straight, God's got a straight path for us to travel on. All right, everyone, have a fantastic week, and we'll see you again soon.